Hi Jagmeet, thank you so much for your time for doing this video and welcome to the channel.
Thank you so much, Ashvik. Thank you. Great to be here, though. Yeah.
Yeah, it was nice connecting with you, and I'm sure that you would be giving us some great insights about Lakehead University and your overall experience and what you are doing right now.
For
So
sure, for sure.
let's start with the first question. Like, why did you select this university? When you are trying to explore your options of doing masters from Canada, you might be exploring other universities as well. So why did you select this university in particular and this course?
Mine is like a straight up thing for that is because that's the only university who accepted me. So
Okay.
there's a say like beggars are not choosers. So that
Okay.
was the time with me. So basically, what happens is that the whole GPA, this whole university in Canada is like quite GPA centric, and competition
Mm-hmm.
for the computer science is quite tough, right? Everyone is computer science sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't study that much. Like my GPA was quite like an okayish. I know
Mm-hmm.
I bumped up my GPA from like 6.5 to 7.3 in the last 1 year of my graduation during BTech.
Mm-hmm.
So just to make it like just above 7, so that actually I can be in the criteria for eligible for applying for the universities. I applied like 9 universities. So yeah, I still remember the one name like Wilfrid Laurier. Then there's a Lakehead, Concordia. In Concordia, I applied for the two courses. One was applied computer science, and the other was software engineering. And then there was University I applied Dalhousie, and there's a university I applied Windsor, and Ottawa and Carleton. Like I
Okay.
applied all these, yeah, 9 universities, and everyone rejected me. Dalhousie offered me the like interview process. That was the first time they start the interview, and
Okay.
I got rejection just after the interview. Like my interview was not even like taken. So I remember
Okay.
I emailed the like deputy head of the head of that particular computer science department on the LinkedIn. Like, yeah, this has happened with me, and he directed to me the international student department. From there, I got to some other, but nothing worked out quite well. So
Mm.
got rejected from there as well. Lakehead was my last choice to go, just for the two reasons. Because when you're in India, you don't even visited Canada, and you see like it's like far away from all the famous places, so much
Mm-hmm.
snow, and it's like totally remote area kind of thing. But eventually, I only got one, so that's why I ended up with Lakehead University.
Yeah, that's a very honest answer, but I
It
appreciate
is,
that. Yeah.
yeah, it is what it is. Yeah, in fact, to be honest, like that was a good decision I taken though. But yeah,
Mhm.
but it is what it is though.
So let's talk about the program. Your field was, data analytics, which was like when
Hmm.
you did, it was not very common in Canada. Not a lot of universities was
Yeah,
providing this option.
yeah. Hmm.
So, like, why did you choose this option particularly? Because you are bullish on data science, or you've thought that this is something different. This will help you to stand out.
Hmm.
Like, what was the
Hmm.
reason?
So the reason is quite simple because I was just exploring. Because to be honest, I never thoroughly researched the computer science thing, like what's in
Hmm.
the computer science. Because during my bachelor's, I was quite more into co-curricular activities instead of just the studying part, right?
Hmm.
So I feel like this is something new coming in this industry. Let's explore this. Because other
Hmm.
than there's software engineering, like whole web app, making apps on the phone and the mobile, like on the web, like website sort of thing,
Hmm.
this is quite similar. So like, there's something extra we can do. Let's explore this, and it was quite booming during that time. Like that was the reason, like which is scarce in number, and like there's a definition of this popularity is like either you can make the supply more and demand less. That could be the thing, right? So or either you can basically make it more demanding and make the supply low. So that was the time
Okay.
going on with the AI during that time. There was no that much supply of the AI courses, right? And this is
Hmm.
new in the industry. I don't just want to get into it, right? So that was the reason I get into this AI, and I that was the only one point I basically tried to convince myself, okay, at least I'm studying AI. That is
Hmm.
the only, there is no like, I want to study. It was just a feel of exploration. Like, okay, let's try it. Like, let's explore, like, what's the thing we can do with it. So that was the only reason. This was the thing I did for the lake here.
Okay. Okay. So for an AI based, master's program, what do you
Hmm.
recommend a candidate should they go for a course based master's or a thesis
Hmm.
based master's? Based on your experience, what do you recommend now?
I feel like this course based and thesis based basically comes after like most, but I feel like what there's so many students who still reach out to me on LinkedIn and everywhere, right? So they still feel like that they want to go instead of the course curriculum, they decide more of the timeline. because of their work
Mhm.
permit thing, right? But from my experience, I would suggest like if you want to go on the data science and AI, then only study this masters of the in that
Mhm.
particular field. Doesn't matter the thesis or the course based, right? Because you end up hating that fact that why did you choose it, because the only thing,
Mhm.
we are already going through so much of struggles during that time during studying, and then we have to do for the classes which we don't even like, right? So we
Mhm.
end up like messed up. So that was the thing. I take the decision. I totally understand that it was such a like a bad decision for that, but the best part is I have my friends with me who were helping me out, like just to figure out like, yo, you get it, you get this, and then I was like trying to do it stuff. So that's the that would I suggest, like do what your interest says, or like if you don't have interest, then you can follow whatever is going on demand right now.
Mhm.
I don't have that much of interest of any of the things. So that's why I followed with the AI, because we're
Mhm.
demand in that time. But
Mhm.
if you know that you want to do this, then go for it. Otherwise, just don't go just because like you don't like it, but you have to do because it's in demand. That's the thing. Like follow
Okay.
your instincts. Yeah.
Okay. So, if we talk about the application process, what do you
Mm-hmm.
recommend? Because you have been in the classes, you have
Mm-hmm.
interacted with other students, and you
Mm-hmm.
yourself are a success, example because you got accepted in the university. So,
Yeah.
what do you recommend an applicant should write in their, SOP, or we call an application letter, explaining
Mm-hmm.
their profile and why they are a good candidate? What are the
Mm-hmm.
things, according to you, they should point out in their application?
Sure. So basically, they must have, first of all, they must have good GPA, because Lakehead
Mm-hmm.
University, and not even just Lakehead, every university in Canada, they're quite GPA centric.
Mm-hmm.
It's been like increasing year by year to be
Mm-hmm.
like, one of my friends just got rejected with a 7.7 CGPA with the Lakehead,
Oh,
right?
okay.
Yeah, so they are quite GPA centric. That's the like
Mm-hmm.
important thing that you must do, right? First thing, and the
Mm-hmm.
second thing, in the SOP, you should be mentioning more about like you have well thoroughly researched the curriculum of that university, right? So
Mm-hmm.
basically, in my all SOPs, wherever I applied, all nine universities, the all SOPs are totally different. I don't have a one generic SOP. I have totally different
Okay.
SOP, because so what I did is that I went to the university's that course program page, right, and then research like what subjects gonna be offered and who's gonna offer what subjects, right? Like the professor name, research about the professors, right? So what I do is that I research about the professor name, his course that he's gonna like make you people study. Like okay, like they're gonna study like let's say wireless networks, or let's say machine learning, and then there's deep learning. Then you have to add in certain kind of way like you want to study this, and make like you could say join the dots in your experience that you have done until now with that particular course. Or you can do like a 1 or 2 month certification and tell like I like this course, I did this certification, and I love to study more about it, and I see in your curriculum you're offering this particular course, right? So try to
Mm-hmm.
connect the dots in certain kind of way so that they can understand like, yeah, this person has actually researched thoroughly about the university, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
the thing you can try. So that's what I actually did, I think, in every university, although, yeah, things don't happen the way, but yeah, it's a step you can take, and it can increase the chances for sure.
Okay. So when you get enrolled in the university, right? Do you think there are any, opportunities the university provides, or any sort of guidance or mentorship program the university provides for new international students? Because, it's a big change for them, not only a
Yeah.
cultural shock, but it's a big change for them based on the workload of the program. Do you think the university provides any sort of help?
Oh, so that's the best thing about this Lakehead University. So we have like I remember there's like one international student department, and then there is one another international department, like two separate department entities. They work separately, and every other society who's there in the Lakehead, doesn't matter either international department or any other thing, they are ready to help for the students. They are for students. So
Mm-hmm.
there's a one thing, a big part I was part of. So it's called Student Union, Lakehead University Student Union, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just come with any query. Doesn't matter. It's going to be related to your coursework. Doesn't matter related with your personal life. Doesn't matter basically personally like part-time jobs, stress, exams, and all sort of things. Just go there with the problem, and I can sure about that you will come up with the solution just after when you leave the room of that Lusu. office building. That's the
Okay.
best thing about the losers. So they have like, and they're like quietly funded. There's a team members who have like
Hmm.
elections goes on every year, and it's the bestest thing about that university. I made friends in that. I actually meet a lot of people through because of that community that we have. So that was the bestest thing to see. And university supports them as well because university have to listen to that Lusu department. That's the
Okay.
reason they are there. It's like this, like Lakehead University is funding a community of students who are basically against the university for the students. It's
Okay.
basically like
Makes
that.
sense.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like that. So they're just for helping students any kind of work. So I remember like I have this like student like not a student. He just started actually. He was in a BTech. So he was doing bachelor's in technology from Lakehead University in computer science. And this person reached out to the LUSU that I'm not able to understand like what I'm doing and why I'm doing this particular course because he just take course randomly, and
Okay.
they help him to change that course so in certain kind of way of his interest, and this person is end up doing the BBA, like a bachelor's in business administration instead of the BTech. His fees got lowered, he did the good course, and now I think he has a good job at a certain bank right now he's doing. So this is where, and they have also the career counseling as well, right? Like
Hmm.
let's say what you're going to do after that, what's the like a prospect rules for you or any kind of work. So they're quite good with that. So that's how Lakehead University helps, and that's the bestest thing that they have.
So that's quite unique actually. I've never heard a university that is giving like this much importance to each and every students
Oh, they
individually.
do.
Yeah, based
They
on
do.
their
Yeah.
needs.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's good. And so now let's talk about the workload. Like how hectic is the workload for a master's based program for computer science, let's say for AI or data science.
It's not that hectic, to be honest.
Okay.
Depends on which course you take. So basically, mostly master student goes like 3 times a week. That's during my time
Hmm.
to the same thing, like 3 times a week. And we are not allowed to take more than 3 courses in a per semester.
Hmm.
That's also a requirement for the university. And out of which you can choose like mix and match, like two tough, one easy, or one tough, two easy. You can do this mix and matching. And I remember like there were 3 courses which are quite hectic, right? They were like machine learning, deep learning, and artificial intelligence. So these are three
Okay.
courses like they are quite hectic, man, because the firstly the coursework is quite difficult, right? And if you don't like the coursework, man, then God bless you. You're gonna pass it or not. You end up dropping the. I remember I dropped the machine learning for the first time because like firstly it was in the first semester of my university, and I was like, yo, why it's happening, why it's, and I'm not able to understand because they're quite mathematics intensive, and it was difficult. It's still difficult, right? I don't know how did I clear it after in the second attempt. So I dropped that course and take it again next year, thanks to my brothers who are friends who were helping me out with the assignment and stuff. So I would say like depends on the course to course, but these 3 courses, you all the best. It's quite tough. It will make your whole semester hectic for sure. Doesn't matter that
Hmm.
you've taken 2 courses or 3 courses. So that's the thing for sure. But other than that, it was quite smooth. I was able to do job, my part-time job. I was able to roam around all the Thunderbird city and all. It is not that hectic. But these 3 courses during these 3 courses time, it was hectic. But after that,
Okay.
other than that, it was not that. Yeah.
Okay. So now let's move on to, employment opportunities or let's say
Mm-hmm.
co-op opportunities. So
Mm-hmm.
does the university help the students, like the master student, to get co-op jobs or, some sort of internships while they're studying?
So the university has this one team called career placement sort of thing, right?
Okay.
Basically, they will not pitch you towards the employers. Like this is the student we have. They will basically help you to, let's say optimize your resume, LinkedIn,
Mhm.
and all sort of these kind of workshops that happen every year, every like quarterly, in fact, now in the university to help the
Mhm.
students. But talking about the co-op, so to be honest, like during my time, there was not that much of thing available there, right? And I was quite pissed about that, like why this university is not helping me. And yeah, I mean, to be honest, to be fair on their part, there's also thing because university is quite in a remote place. The nearest city to them is Toronto, which is like 17 hour away. And okay,
Okay.
let's just say ignore this part. Is like okay, this that things are remote, right? But still, Toronto is like covered with so many different universities and so many colleges around them. Why would they like actually reach out to the people who are in Thunder Bay? Like they're so straight up like Northwest Ontario, right? So that's
Mhm.
fair on their part. But yeah, but if you're from different background other than the computer science, the IT, like let's say from engineering background, then let's say you're from business background, finance background, lawyers and all. In fact, the Bora Laskin, like basically the law arm of the Lakehead University, they are quite good law, like they have a good program, and I have heard so many good things about that, right?
Mhm.
So in that particular streams, Lakehead University is good. They offer a lot of things. In fact, like the employers do come, like in the career that they have this career fair every
Job
year.
fair. Okay.
Yeah, job fair, who hire these particular people from this students from this particular field, right? But talking about IT, no, you rarely get a chance. Sometimes you will have to create an opportunity for yourself in the city,
Mhm.
and then only you will end up having that sort of thing, like a co-op thing. But yeah, it's quite like and in fact, the rule for the co-op is also not favorable in a favorable condition for the student. So according to the Lakehead University, the rule is that let's say you can only do the co-op after doing the 2 semesters, right?
Okay.
And we have 5 semesters to complete. And there's also one more rule is that you have to do the co-op in certain kind of way that after completing the co-op, you make sure that you have 2 semesters left at the end of the
Mhm.
masters. So
Mhm.
you can say either you can go after 2 semesters or either you can go after 3 semesters, but you can't go after fourth or fifth. And
Mhm.
just think like this, like let's say which company, until unless you're a very good candidate, which company would wait for 2 semesters, like 8 months, so that you can rejoin them, so that people don't end up not getting the, let's say, a rejoining offer or like a full-time offer after doing the co-op,
Mhm.
right? So that's basically make it difficult on the student part. So you can work around something like that if you reach out to the chancellor or the education department of that computer science IT department. So you can do help with that. But this is the situation, right? That's why most of the people end up not taking co-op for the
Mhm.
situation. So this is the whole scenario of co-op and a career thing in Lakehead.
Okay. Probably the situation might be a bit different now because you might be getting some work from home
Yeah,
opportunities.
yeah. That's the thing. But like, see, there is also a rule, no, that even if you get a work from home opportunity, right, but you still not be doing a full-time work while you're
Mm.
co-op team, right? That's the rule. I mean, the rules change for this 1 year for the students who come, but this is the rule, right? So you're not allowed to do the full-time co-op while taking the courses.
Mm.
That's also an issue,
Okay.
right? So yeah, so this may be the condition.
Okay. So now let's talk about, the overall cost of the program and the
Hmm.
cost of living in the area. So can you please share us like some information about, the overall cost and how expensive it is to manage, like your overall expenses while you are working or while you are there as a student?
Yeah, sure. So, I would say the bestest thing that's I admire the most about Lake University is firstly the fees is quite low, man. Like it was, I remember. I mean, I would not say that it's quite as compared to other universities. It's very low. It was a
Mhm.
7,000. I still remember that number, the $7,000 one semester fee. I remember that, and it got increased to 7,700 in the next year,
Okay.
right? So that's the best thing about this university. The fees is quite low as compared to other universities. And the second thing about talking about the Thunder Bay, it's very low rate in the cheap rates basically for the you say rent and all that sort of things, which is a necessary part. But yeah, as compared to like Toronto and big cities, it's quite low in prices, man. Like you can easily found a 1 bedroom apartment for yourself in $1,100. And that
Mhm.
also I'm talking about in a downtown of Thunder Bay, like a
Okay.
best place. I mean, not downtown is not the best place, but like there's one like a lake there, right? So you can find the lake facing apartments, the quite
Okay.
in a high-rise building, like a best
Okay.
apartment. These are just 1,100 in the like rent. So that's the best thing you can get. I remember like I never paid rent more than $400, $425 for the whole room for myself. So
Okay. That's pretty
uh,
cheap for a student, right?
that's quite, yeah, it's very affordable, very affordable. Thunder Bay is like very much affordable.
Okay, so obviously there is some sort of opportunity cost, right? If you are saying that it's far away from Toronto, then the expenses are less, and your overall
Less,
tuition fees is less. So
less,
it
yeah.
sorts of balances out in few
That's the
things.
thing. Yeah, that's
Okay.
the thing. That's the thing. Yeah.
Okay, and let's talk about, job opportunities once you graduate. So let's say
Mhm.
if you talk about yourself, you graduated from Lakehead with computer science, masters in computer science, and IT is one of the, hot fields in Canada because you get enough opportunities. So how would you rate your degree or your masters from Lakehead, and how it was helpful for you to get employment?
So the best thing I what the computer science thing is like we work in so diverse culture. Although there
Mhm,
were mostly like Asian people there too, but there were people from a different backgrounds that come from, right? If
mhm,
we, let's say if we talk about just India, right? The people from North India is quite different from the South India, right? So you
okay.
got you actually tackle around with so many different mindset and you learn more. And that was the best thing about Lakehead University because we were in the same class. My professor was actually from China, and he was teaching the same subject like computer science, which we're gonna end up in using like industry, right? The that helps you to how to interact with the people. Because
Mhm,
what I feel like after being in I completed my fourth year in Canada now this year, right? So and it's my second year going on of working right in the industry. So what I feel like doesn't matter you have the skills or not. If you're good with the communication part, if you know how to present your idea to the other person, you're good. You're all set. The company don't
mhm,
demand that much of skill set. Obviously, they want the basics, but don't that much. If you're a very good personality, good with communication, and who know that okay, he basically they're looking for the student, not for the person who's like who tells them like what to do.
mhm.
Basically they're looking for like collaborator kind of thing, not just like who this person is coming as a teacher, like you have to do this, you have to do that, like a bossy people kind of thing, right? So
Okay.
that's the thing, yeah. And that was I would say like this master's experience with Lakehead, and interact with different activities sort of things with so many different minded people in my class, my professors. It was quite a good experience that basically helped me like how to communicate. Obviously you get skills because no one's gonna put the skills into you directly like injected and all like this is a skill, you take it and do it, right? You have to learn it by time. It will obviously come with time, but this communication can be learned by practicing every day, and that's where the masters my experience with Lakehead helped me doing that. So that was the thing
Okay.
that end up having this job and everything.
Okay. So as far as you show the ability to learn and be a
Yeah.
student outside, even in your professional career, it can be helpful for you.
Yes.
Okay, makes
Yeah.
sense. And let's end the interview with one piece of advice you would like to give to, let's say, a person or a student who is watching this video and preparing to apply for different universities, or let's say Lakehead University, like yourself. What is one piece of advice would you would like to give to that person based on your experience?
Like I'm quite like I would not say that I'm that much big person to give the advice, but like I would say like just like a big brother to the all students who are hearing this, right? This like name of the university, like Lakehead University, then there's Carleton Auto University. It doesn't matter until unless you study from the totally elite university. Let's say the elite universities are just three: University of Toronto, University of Waterloo, and then University of British Columbia. These are three top elite universities. Other than that, you study in any university, you'll end up struggling this much. Is that, and I would not say it's a struggle time, it's always a learning time because I remember when I was doing my master's, last 4 months of graduation, the first month I was just enjoying and all that, but after that I was totally back to the grinding time, like studying and reaching out to people, making LinkedIn, everything, what sort of thing that is required for the job, right? So you have to do that, like you have to do that 3 months of work, and doesn't matter the university, which university you get, you'll end up getting a job before even graduating. That's for sure. I still say that like whosoever is also switching in the careers, like not even just for like who just got the job and everything for after graduating school, even for like when you're switching the job, you just need a 3 months straight up grind time and you will be having a good career and good switch from one level to another level or from one job to a different job, what sort of things you have to do, right? So that's the advice I would give. Just have a good go, have a focus on mindset, like what to do and how to do that. Like a reverse engineer kind of work. I work like a reverse engineer. Let's say, okay, this is my goal. Okay, what this
Hmm.
person do? Okay, this person do this. Okay, but I need to do that. I need to do that. This, and then go back to from where you starting, and then you have a you see you having a like let's say roadmap. You have the roadmap, and you will know what to do and how to proceed further for that. So this will end up like let you in the position where you want to be during time. So yeah, that all I can say. And yeah, enjoy, man. It's not just always a great time.
Yeah,
Enjoy, visit, go to Thunder Bay every time. I after leaving Thunder Bay, I went one more time there too. So because I love nature and I miss people there, I miss Thunder Bay every time. So yeah, I do.
that's actually a good advice. Even doesn't matter where you graduate from, you have to put in the work if
You
you
have
want
to put,
to
yeah,
make a bit, if you want to, develop a good career out of yourself.
correct.
So yeah, I think that's it. Thank you so much, Jagmeet, for your time, and I'm sure your guidance would be very helpful for future aspirants of Lakehead, not just Lakehead, any other university aspirants as well. Thanks again.
For sure. For sure, for sure. Thank you so much, Ashu, for giving me this chance and sharing whatever the experience I have for the students of watching, the subscribers of your channel. Thank you.
Thank you.